Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to math. Today, we're gonna be covering polygons. Okay, a special type of polygons that we'll be covering today. The objective for today's concept, okay, is should I say objectives because there's a few. Okay, number one, the first objective is we have to find out how many sides does each of those polygons have. Okay, that's our very first objective. Our second one is we have to know if it's a concave or a convex. You might not know what these are. I'm going to show you in a minute what they are. Okay. And then the third one is it a regular or irregular polygon? Okay. So we have three objectives, three things we need to find on today's polygons. Okay. How do we identify them? How to label them and name them. So let's put our objective up on the board. All right, guys, now that it's up there, remember, concave. Concave is, think of any polygon that goes in on itself, meaning if we have something like this, okay? Notice that if you have all these sides, then if they didn't turn, they continue in any direction, okay? Whatever direction they're going on without stopping. Notice that some of those sides, if they continue going, they're going to go inside the shape, okay? That means that it is a concave polygon because wherever you have a turn, okay, that goes into the shape, that means that it's caving. Think of a cave. Cave is gonna, whenever it collapses, it caves in, right? The same with concave polygon, okay? A convex, on the other hand, is when they don't, all the lines that just continue on the outside, they don't go inside the polygon. For example, we can say a rectangle, okay? For this rectangle, if we do all our lines continue going, okay? All our lines are gonna go on forever. Notice that none of the lines, okay, came in or caved in into the shape, okay? That is a convex polygon, okay? If it doesn't go into the shape, it is convex. If it goes into the shape, it is concave, okay? And then also regular and irregular polygons, okay? Before we start on the concept, a regular polygon, all the sides have to be the same, okay? The same for the angles. You usually see this in the equilateral triangle, okay? You'll see it there where it's regular because you can have all the sides the same and all the angles the same. If it doesn't have the same size, for example, this first one we did, notice we have all kinds of different lines for the original polygon. That is an irregular polygon because all the sides are different. That means that the angles are also different, okay? Now that we know the very basics of it, we can actually start today's concept. Remember, the objective for today is we have to find how many sides each of the polygons has, okay? We have to identify if it's a concave or convex polygon, and also if it's an irregular or regular polygon. So let's see here. I'm gonna draw 4 examples, okay? All right, my examples are there's our first one, okay? Our second one is okay, this shape looks like a J, kind of in 3D. Then we have okay, this other shape here. Okay, and then finally we have this triangle. I'm gonna give you guys a second there to write them down. Make sure you have all 4 of them. Okay, again, the objective again, we're trying to find how many sides for each one of them, okay? So on this first one, we know that we have, let's count the corners, okay? Helps out too to count them. We have one side, okay? Since we already count this corner, you can say 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 6 sides. So we found out how many sides it has. Okay, so we have 6 sides. Now our next part is it a concave or a convex? Okay, notice that if we were to draw lines that were continue in every direction, notice that none of them will cave into that shape. Okay, so we know by that law that they don't cave in, it is a convex. So it is convex polygon. And then finally, we have to find out if it's a regular or irregular polygon. I will say this. My shape is not perfectly accurate, okay? I didn't take out a ruler and put it all, but I did make a 6 corner shape, okay, or 6 side shape, which is a hexagon, right? So when it comes to hexagons, we know that all the sides have to be the same. Therefore, all the angles are the same. So therefore, this is a regular polygon. Okay? So we found all 3 things. We identified how many sides it had, if it was a concave or convex, and if it was a regular or irregular polygon. Okay? For our second one, which is this J over here, kind of looking J. We're going to find how many sides. Again, we have 1, 2, the little inside 3, the long side 4, 5, 6, the outside on the bottom 7, 8, the little curve 9, 10, and then 11 with the horizontal, 12 with this little peak, and then finally to connect the final piece, 13. So how many sides does this 3D J has? 13, right? So we have 13 sides. Now, is it a convex or a concave? Hint, hint. Some of these parts cave in if they continue going in, okay? So therefore, it is concave. And then finally, is it a regular polygon or irregular polygon? That's the big question. I will say this. All concaves, okay, unless this has a specific measurement, are irregular. Okay? This one doesn't give you measurements, but by the look of it, it is an irregular polygon. Okay? Unless I said all the sides are 5 inches or 10 inches or whatever, then it would be a regular. But other than that, since it doesn't give you all the measurements, and by the looks of it, it is an irregular polygon. We have our fourth one here, our third one. Okay, again, we have to count how many sides it has. We know it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so how many sides does it have? It has 6 sides. Because remember, one of our objectives is to find the sides. So we have 6 sides. Okay, now our next part of the objective is you have to determine, okay, or identify if it's a convex or concave. In this case, again, one of the sides here on the side, you guys can see, if the line continues going, it's going to go into the inside of the polygon. Therefore, it's a concave. And finally, is it regular or is it irregular? Again, since it doesn't tell you nothing, the measurements, you always assume there is an irregular, okay? Irregular polygon. And finally, we have our fourth example, okay? We have to find again how many sides we have. This one's a little more simpler, a little more easier. As you guys can tell, we have 1, 2, and 3. 3 sides. So 3 sides, it's our first answer, because we're looking for how many sides. Our second part of the objective is concave or convex, okay? By looking at it, do we see any lines that cave in? We don't, okay? Notice that all the lines continue going on outwards, therefore it's a convex. And finally, okay, is it a regular or irregular polygon? That's the big question, okay? Notice that it does tell us something. It tells us that all the angles are the same. Therefore, if all the angles are the same, that means that all the sides are the same. Therefore, this is an regular polygon. Okay? All right, guys, so make sure you write all 4 of them. I'm gonna step out here on the screen for a minute so you guys can write them down. All right, guys, so make sure if you have any questions, you submit an email. Say, Mr. Rivera, I still don't understand it. We can go over it a little more in depth. Okay? All right, so here is your assignment for today. What do you guys think I'm gonna draw on the board? Some polygons, right? Because we're dealing with polygons. All right, the ones you guys are gonna find the sides for. Because remember, the objective is to find the sides, if it's a concave or convex, and finally, if it's a regular or irregular polygon. So you have Okay, we have our first shape here. Hint, hint. It is known as pentagon. Okay. We also have the moon. Okay. I mean, that's what it looks like. We have this moon here. It'll tell me how many sides. Okay, if it's convex or concave, if it's a regular or irregular polygon. Okay, and the final one is, let's see if I can draw this. All right, and there is our final shape. Okay. All right, guys. So again, the objective for today is you have to tell me how many sides each one of these polygons have. Okay, there's three. If it's a concave polygon or is it a convex? Okay, and then finally, if it's a regular polygon or irregular. Okay, remember, submit your answers as soon as you're done watching the video. Okay, I'll be waiting here for you guys' email.